Hello PANcasters. Today we have Olivia again to discuss how to troubleshoot log forwarding to cloud services. Welcome back, Olivia.
Hello John, thanks for having me back on PANCast. We are having quite some cases about issues related to log forwarding to the cloud services, so I wanted to discuss about few troubleshooting steps to perform.
Great. So what are the use cases where our next-gen firewalls would send data to cloud services?
So first of all, if you are using AIOps, Strata Cloud Manager, IoT Security, Cortex Data Lake, you may be interested in this episode. Basically, any existing or upcoming cloud services which parse the firewall logs, the telemetry data, are using the same common points. The device certificate, the hub to bind devices to application, and the log receiver.
Okay, let's start with the device certificate.
For the sake of simplicity, I will just talk about the device certificate as it becomes the certificate used to authenticate the device from PAN-OS 10.1 and above. If you read somewhere termite certificate, it is that certificate I am talking about. To start, the device certificate requires the firewall to access Palo Alto Network's servers. So you can make sure the network is not blocking the access to our servers. How? On the firewall, you can check the traffic logs if anything to the server IP is allowed or not. You can also do a packet capture, but usually you shouldn't have to perform such detailed troubleshooting. For reference, you can find in the transcript the FQDNs required to get the device certificate. Another action you can take is to simply try to refetch a new device certificate. If your device cannot get its device certificate and you are pretty confident the network part is not blocking the required traffic, contact the TAC so we can review and clear our backend if needed.
So if the device certificate is present and it is valid, what can we check on the hub?
So the hub is the portal with the cloud services available to your account. If you have never heard of it, open your browser, go to apps.paloaltonetworks.com and log on with your CSP account. Probably there will be nothing if it's your first time connecting to it. Otherwise, you should see the different apps available. The first thing you can check is to make sure the hub is displayed on the TSG-aware mode, aka Hub 2.0. Except if there is an application you are using which is not TSG-aware, you should be in this Hub 2.0 mode, as it is safe to assume all applications will be TSG-aware. So, you see the background color of the portal. If it is dark blue, you are good. You are on the Hub 2.0. If it is not, you simply have to switch the toggle on the top left of the portal to switch from Hub 1.0 to Hub 2.0. Now, I will clear some misconceptions here. Misconception number 1, being super user on the CSP does not mean your account will be super user on the hub. First, you need a TSG, which is a logical container where you associate device, app, users. So if there is no TSG, it is normal, there is nothing to see. If there is a TSG, you should check with your colleague if someone has created a TSG with an app. And that is because of the misconception number 2, TAC does not have administrative rights on customer accounts. So if you have any access issue to a TSG or any app, you may resolve the issue faster by asking your colleagues than opening a case to TAC. Once you have ensured that there is no user right related issue, the next check on the hub is to simply make sure the device are attached to the TSG. If the app requires a license, make sure the device are associated with the app. For instance, AIOps 3 is applied by default to all devices as there is no license requirement. But IoT security requires the device to be associated with the app so the license can be associated to the device. Besides those two common issues, if there is something wrong on the hub, open a case to TAC with at least the TSG number and a screenshot of the issue.
Great. What about the log receiver?
At that point, your firewall has its device certificate, everything is clean on the hub side, So we need to focus on the actual log forwarding. So on the firewall, yes, because currently most of the use cases are using logs from firewall, make sure all the connections are initiated from the same interface. By default, it is the management interface. But it happens that you may decide to use service routes to use a specific data plane interface for the communication with Palo Alto Networks log receiver. So you will have to put a service route for all the required region-specific FQDNs to use the same interface. Another thing to make sure is the region configured on the device. It needs to match with the region on a deployed app on the hub. If you have CDL in the Europe region and the firewall is sending to the Singapore region, it will not work. Finally, if the traffic is sent out from the right interface and the region is correct, you need to make sure the device in transit is not blocking the traffic and it is correctly forwarding it to the internet. You can review the traffic logs for that on the firewall if you're looping back the management interface to the data plane, for instance. Or you can check on the next device what is happening to the traffic. You can also get the device_telemetry_curl.log log file output from the CLI. You can see the transfer output and see to which URL the issue is currently happening.
Thanks, Olivia. Is that all we need to know?
Yes, I cannot share all my troubleshooting tricks, but if you check those different points, you have clear most of what I will check.
Aha, okay. So what are the takeaways for today?
So to sum up, I will say, make sure the device certificate is present on the firewall. Make sure the device is correctly associated to the app in the TSG. Make sure the traffic is flowing as expected.
Thanks again, Olivia. PANcasters, as always, the transcript will be on live.paloaltonetworks.com. And remember to subscribe to PANcast on your favourite podcast platform.